This is not the image China wants ahead of the Olympics. The protests are in New Delhi, but the demonstrations are outside the Chinese embassy. Tibetan exiles marking the anniversary of a failed uprising. Similar protests too have reportedly taken place in Tibet's capital, Lhasa, with more than a dozen monks arrested, according to the Tibetan Center for Human Rights. In fact, so sensitive is the communist government to all of this, censors here have been working overtime.
In India, Tibetan protests against Chinese...
On the left, CNN's regular broadcast. On the right, the blacked-out screen seen by viewers in mainland China. Olympics or no Olympics, Beijing is maintaining its hard line. The exiles who want to come back to Tibet can when they admit that Tibet is part of China and they're Chinese, says this official. Communist forces invaded Tibet in 1950. 9 years later, its spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, fled into exile and for years has been a globe-trotting thorn in Beijing's side, which has labelled him a dangerous separatist.
The Dalai Lama's forces want to have a liberal democratic system in Tibet. And of course, the Chinese government is not about to agree to that.
For Olympic organisers, Free Tibet protesters are one of the biggest security concerns during this year's Games. Last August, they unfurled banners on the Great Wall, as well as the Tibetan side of Mount Everest, where Games organisers plan to carry the Olympic flame, a controversial move which critics say is meant to legitimise China's rule over Tibet. And this week, China banned all Everest climbs on the north face of the mountain for the coming months. A letter sent to expedition companies cites increasing environmental pressures and does not mention the Olympic torch. There's still 5 months before the Olympics and the protests are just getting started, with Tibet one flashpoint among many. So instead of basking in the glow of international praise, China might yet be facing a long hot summer. John Vors, CNN Beijing.